Hi YouTube and welcome back. This is the second video in a collection of short videos working with NSCollectionViews with Mac applications. It's taken from the book Mac Apps 1. If you haven't seen the introductory video, then please just go back in our YouTube channel and see that first. You'll get an idea of what we're going to build. Right now we're going to hammer on through the setup of the project in this video number 2 to create the contacts database using the collection view with collection view items. There's a lot to cover, so I'm going to get started straight away. I've got the source code downloaded. The introductory video covers all of that, shows you what the app's about. Now we're going to start setting things up. So into Xcode 7.3, create a new Cocoa application project. Remember, this is for Mac OS, not for iOS. OS X application, Cocoa application, next. This is chapter 17 in the book. Programming language Swift, use storyboards, next. Find a place to save it. I've got a little folder here called code. I'm going to create that folder and that project right there. Now, this is what things look like when we start out. This is our storyboard. Remember, the book will cover everything in much more detail than I can cram in here. Step-by-step guide, lots of images, lots of graphics, very easy to follow. This is the project. We've got our view controller here, and the window controller and the view controller. Now we need to drag some things into this project. Now we're going to need a couple of view controllers for the sheets. There's a view controller there. Now I'm doing things slightly out of order compared to the book. So things are not quite in the same order as the book to get the project set up, because we're not going to be taking a lot of the theory here behind things, but we are getting these additional view controllers sized like that. These are going to be drop down sheets. The first one here is going to be for adding new contacts to the contacts database. The second one is going to be used for selecting and editing existing contacts and updating contact data. So 2 view controllers in like that. The main view controller is going to house the collection view and the collection view items. So we're going to scroll down here now, and we are going to find the collection view that we're going to be using here. Now here we've got a collection view and a collection view item. Now in Xcode 7.3 there is a bug. Some people would call it a feature, or what's the word? Yeah, something that's left over from a previous version of Xcode. But you'll see what I mean here. When I drag this collection view in, we need this, and we're just going to add that over there. We get this down here, this collection view item. And if I select this segue and switch over to the identity inspector here, we can't actually see what this type of segue is, and that's because it doesn't work. So we need to get rid of that segue, and we need to get rid of this collection view item. We need to delete that, mark it like this, and get rid of it completely. That's gone. The book explains everything about why that doesn't work with the with the segue and the collection view item we just added. So this over here is quite useless. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, like it shows in the book, I'm going to size this collection view to fill out the bottom part of the view controller, and we're going to leave this space up here where we're going to place some buttons. By doing this, I'm keeping things a little more simple than what I would normally use. I would normally have a toolbar up here and have the controls for working with data, adding new contacts, deleting contacts, sorting contacts. They would probably be in this toolbar attached to the window controller. But instead, I'm going to create buttons in this space that I've saved here, and these buttons will then have the outlets connected to the view controller class here. So the buttons to control everything will be here. Back to the storyboard. Collection view there. Two view controllers that we will code up later and add some controls to. But this is the basic setup here. Now we need collection view items in a collection view. To do that, we're going to go up to the file menu and we're going to say new file, and we're going to choose a Cocoa class, and we're going to say next. And you can see I've already been in here before and it has already selected collection view item. Now this will be the parent class. So we're going to name the class col view item. Here you've got a bunch of classes to choose your super class or parent class from, and collection view item is what we need. We also need a nib file, a zip file. This is going to be the user interface for this class. The language is going to be Swift, so we're going to click next and add that to the project. It's asking where do we want to put that. Same folder as the other files, and they are there. Now we've got a controlling class and we've got a nib file. Now a nib file looks a lot different than a storyboard. This is the older way of doing things in Xcode for Mac apps, but it's no problem combining your storyboard and nib files. In fact, you have to do this way for collection view items. Now what we want is a special object, which is a placeholder or a conduit. It's just a basic object. It's a subclass of NSObject right now, and what this does is it allows us to drag this object to the editor gutter for the zip file, and that way, by having a placeholder for an object in the gutter, we are then able to use drag and draw or drag and draw to connect items visually using point and click in Xcode. So click done to that, drag this object over here, and then we have a placeholder object which we can associate with a controlling file, and then we can drag and use objects from that. So this object will be a conduit for this, the collection view item class definition. So to do that, we're going to go over here. We're on Identity Inspector here, and then we are going to look down here, and we should find our collection view item class mentioned there. And there it is. So now this object represents this class. That's fine. So now I'm going to press Command S to save. Keep an eye on the file menu here and you'll see it blink blue. That's now saved. Now the collection view item here has a view property. Now because this object now is a conduit or a represented object for a collection view item, this too has a view property. And so if I right click or control click and drag a connection over to the view in the zip file and then release my cursor here, I can connect something in that to something in this, and that something we want to connect is the view outlet there. So when we use code that gets in touch with or accesses the view in this zip file, it's doing it now through an outlet that is automatically available in this class file. So the next thing to do here, go up to our size inspector. Now this is very large. The book here, we've done this bit, we've got the collection view in. 17.2 discusses the collection view items. We've done this. There's our custom view. We've done the object. We've connected the object to the view property. There. Now we need to resize this. Our collection view items are going to work in a grid layout or flow layout, and they're going to have a fixed size of 150 by 100. So back here, we've got the view selected, and we're going to type 150 for the width, 100 for the height. There. That is our collection view item. Now the item is basically read-only, so it's going to have labels that display data from the data model, and that data is going to be displayed in labels. So we've got a label here. I'm going to drag that label over here like that, resize it out to the edge there. Command C, copy that label. Command V, paste a second label and drag that down there. And that is our collection view item, and we have a collection view object that's going to house these items. Done now. So if we take a quick look at the book now, I've moved ahead a few sections in the book, and now I'm going to look at these view controllers that are used for adding and updating contacts. So back to the storyboard and back to these view controllers here. We take a quick look at the book again here. We've got 2 text fields in each view controller and 2 buttons. Text fields, buttons. This grayed text is the placeholder text. So I'm going to add all of these controls to these view controllers now. So scroll down, text field. Give it a decent size, like that. And Command C, copy, Command V, set in. This will be the name, this will be the contact info. Same again down here, Command V, set in. One more time, Command V, set in. So there we've got name, contact info, name, contact info. Now we need the buttons. Regular push buttons. One there. Command C, copy, Command V, paste. Arrange those like that. Down here, Command V, like that. Command V, like that. This one's going to be the update, this one's going to be the add new. So text on this button, add. Text on this button, cancel. Update, cancel. Placeholder text in this one, attribute inspector, you get your placeholder string here, name, contact info. when this view controller appears, you will see this information because both of these fields will be blank. In this view controller, although I've done it in the book, you don't need to add a placeholder text because when the view appears, it will extract data from the collection view controller, and you will see a name and contact information down here. Now, both of these files, are both of these view controller scenes in the storyboard need controlling classes. So again, we're going to go over, we're going to select this one here, our folder, and then we're going to go up and say new file, and we're going to say we're going to create a Coco class, and this is going to be a collection, not a collection view, sorry, a regular view controller class. Alright, NS, come on, NS view controller, where are you? You are there. And this is going to be the add new contact controller, and we do not need a nib file. We have a view in the storyboard. Language is Swift, add new contact controller, next, like that, and click create, like that. So, right, now for the second file, up here, new file. This is the one for the update view controller. So again, Coco class, next, like that, and we're going to call this one update contact controller. It's remembered that it should be an NS view controller, no nib file, language Swift, next, create. So now we have these two new classes, and we're going to go back to the storyboard now. Select the first one. This is the view controller for adding. And we select add new contact controller. There. Go down to this one. And for the custom class, we're going to scroll down and find update contact controller. There. So, press Command S for save. That's the storyboard saved so far. Done. Right. We've now got our two auxiliary view controllers that are going to handle new contacts and updates. I'm just going to go back to the nib file here. There are a couple of things we need to do before we start adding outlets and tying things together in code here. We've got our class file, we've got our view, that's this. Later when we start adding items to the collection view, adding contact items with this collection view item here, we're going to manipulate the appearance of these collection view items using core animation layers. In the book, that's already mentioned after we've resized the object, the actual view in the nib file. And now we're going to select this one. This is the view properties. So we're going to come over here and show the view effects inspector. Now we need to put a check mark here because we want a core animation layer for this view. Now this one will let us access the underlying core animation layer in code so that we can create the rectangle with the rounded edge, shade the background of the view, and change the selection border property and things like that. All this comes straight away in the book, but we've been jumping around a little bit to get the physical appearance of the application set up. So that's basically it for how things should look. We do need some buttons in the view controller, and they're going to appear in this area here. As I mentioned earlier, the buttons will be linked to outlets and actions, etc. in the view controller Swift file. So I'm keeping things kind of compact here so that I don't have to work with the responder chain object too much, which I would have to do if I was using a toolbar. But that's it for the visual layout. When we start adding the buttons, we'll add the outlets, and the outlets will start connecting to, the buttons will start connecting to the view controllers, and we will start progressing through the code and get things working. And we'll do it in such a way that we don't have to write the whole application and make it complete to see the progress that we're making. So that's the end of this this video. This is number 2, and don't forget to see number 1 if you haven't already seen it, because it gives you a general introduction to everything that this application is going to do. And in the next video, we're going to start looking at some of the code, outlets for all this stuff over here, actions for the buttons, and we're going to start displaying these controllers. Okay, thanks. Bye for now.